Mr. Ashok, you have passed out from IIT Guwahati.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Have you heard of Asari Kandi? Asari Kandi. Famous toy is found in Assam.
No, sir, I am not particularly aware of the toys.
Okay. What is the cultural symbol of Assam? You must have known. That is the cultural symbol. Wherever we go, Assamese welcome us with this particular cultural symbol.
So, are we talking about the animal symbol as such, or are we talking about the culture?
So, suppose I meet someone in Assam.
Yes, sir.
Suppose you have come to a particular university in Assam to deliver a lecture.
Yes, sir.
So, you will be welcomed with something. What is that?
Sir, we will be welcomed with a red and white striped towel.
What is it called? Yes, it is.
Sir, I'm sorry, sir, I cannot recall the particulars of that garment, but you will be welcomed.
It is named
with
Gamocha. It is very
Yes,
famous in Assam.
Yes, sir.
You were studying, not looking outside your campus.
Not like
Totally
that.
shut off yourself from the outside world. Okay. So your father is into fishing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me something about the scarcity of Hilsa fish in India?
Yes, sir. Sir, Hilsa fish is a migratory fish that starts its journey from Myanmar,
Okay.
and through Bay of Bengal, it comes to the eastern coast. And my locality, especially Kakinada, happens to be its breeding ground, sir.
Okay.
So in East Godavari, particularly, Hilsa fish is harvested.
Okay.
Harvested and hunted for a livelihood. And because of the unsustainable practices that are practiced by the
What is that unsustainable
Yes.
practice?
So most of the fishermen in our area follow the traditional way of fishing. For example, in summers there is a ban, 2 months ban, during which the fishing should not be done, because it gives them the time gap for the Hilsa fish or the other sea fish to migrate and fertilize their eggs. But fishermen in our area violate the ban, and often they use a fine mesh nets, fine mesh nets to catch the Hilsa fish and all. So using the fine mesh nets, they catch the juveniles, by which they are depleting the marine resources of the future, sir. So these are the two pressing problems in our region that is responsible for decline of Hilsa fishes.
Okay. So we have heard that a similar problem is also faced by fishermen in Balochistan. You know where Balochistan is located?
Yes, sir.
So recently what happened, there was a huge protest uproar against Chinese
Okay.
on this related issue. Can you focus some light what happened there?
No, sir, I am not particularly aware of this development, sir.
Okay. So you can find out, see, Chinese, they were coming with big boats, trawlers, and depleting the ocean, that part of the ocean, Arabian Sea basically, from where the traditional fishermen of Balochistan are fishing. As a result of which, those people are losing their livelihood. Is there any additional point that also are making them angry, the traditional fishermen?
Sir, in Balochistan or in...
Yes, in Balochistan. Think about the geopolitical scenario in Pakistan and tell me what can be another factor. I am just giving you a hint. That also is making the local fishermen restless, angry. What can be another point?
Sir, Balochistan itself wants autonomy from Pakistan. So maybe my intuition is that since...
No, that is not true.
Okay.
No, this point is true, but that is not the reason why fishermen are getting angrier.
Okay, sir. Then I'm not exactly able to connect the
The other
dots, sir.
point is the Pakistani administration, they are totally subservient to Chinese.
Yes, sir.
So when people go and complain about the high-handedness of Chinese, they are not given justice. So on one hand, they are being subjected to injustice. Number two, they are not getting justice even when they complain. That's what is making them very angry. That has resulted in a number of agitations in that area.
Thank you, sir. I will read up on that.
Okay. You hail from the state of?
Andhra Pradesh, sir.
Okay. Which part?
East Godavari district, sir.
Okay. Now, there is a debate going on about prohibition policy. Have you heard of it?
Yes, sir.
In which states of India right now prohibition policy is being implemented?
So prohibition is implemented in Bihar
And?
Gujarat.
And?
These are the two states I'm completely
Yes.
aware of, sir.
So what is your take on prohibition? Should we have it or should we not have it? Take into account the experience of these two states. Did AP ever have prohibition earlier?
Sir, AP did have prohibition in earlier during the tenure of N.T. Ramarao, sir. As per the coming to the question.
Yeah, come back to the question.
During when alcohol was prohibited, prohibition was first time prohibited in Gujarat. We see an incidence of bootleg economy by Abdul Latif, sir. He started a bootleg mafia in Gujarat. Also in Bengal, also in Bihar, where the prohibition is being pursued today. Also, we see cases of deaths from consuming cheap liquor. And also there is a prevalence of high prevalence of bootleg economy, and nexus between the bootleg economy dealers and the politicians is increasing, sir.
Nexus between those people, politicians, and what about police? There is no nexus with police in the administration?
I'm
not aware.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the development, sir.
Any reason why prohibition should be there? And is that the only reason why prohibition should not be there? Tell me, I am asking you one pointed question. The AP government, when this in 2019, when the new government came to power, there was a talk that there will be slow but steady progress towards total prohibition. You are aware of this fact?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the thinking? Why people are hesitant to implement total prohibition? Is this nexus between bootleggers and politicians the only reason why people don't want total prohibition, or is there any other reason?
Sir, total prohibition is impacts badly because one, total ban will always encourage illegal
That
sale
you have
of the
already
liquor,
told
sir.
us.
Yes, sir.
Any other reason, very pressing reason, why governments are thinking twice before trying to implement total prohibition?
Sir, one reason could be alcohol is a major source of revenue for the states, as they can impose VAT and other state taxes.
VAT?
VAT taxes and other state taxes on the...
VAT is still there.
Sir, as far as I'm aware, it is still there, sir.
Based on liquors.
On liquors, VAT is there.
Branded liquors, it should be there, no, sir. Okay, sir, I will look upon the development, like if it's not there. And number two is people as such, there are people who developed physical dependence on alcohol. So, to deprive them of alcohol is to cause them more harm.
Is it a valid reason? You have become addicted to ganja, so I should not ban ganja because otherwise you will suffer.
Sir, my thinking is the way forward should be detoxification and analyzing them slowly, providing them awareness.
Is detoxification the correct term? Isn't de-addiction the correct term?
Yes, sir. Detoxification, awareness, and then followed by de-addiction drives rather than outright prohibition, sir.
Detoxification followed by?
De-addiction programs, sir. How they can substitute the alcohol with another less harming substitutes.
Like?
There are like medical drugs which stimulate the same kind of stimulation like alcohol.
Can you tell me some of those drugs which give me the same pleasure as that of alcohol?
I am not exactly aware of the name, sir.
Is there such a drug? Because I am a doctor, I have never heard of such a drug.
So,
So what is this decision scientist?
sir, decision scientist is a role that is sandwiched between data scientist and consultant, sir. So as a decision scientist, we have to deal with the data as well as generate insights that are meaningful for the business. So it encompasses both the roles of data scientist as well as consultant, sir.
So, Ashok, what is cultural intelligence?
Sir,
What is cultural intelligence?
cultural intelligence. Sir, I'm not sure. Can I take a try at it?
Please.
So my thinking is that it is the collective amount of knowledge or the intelligence that is gathered from the previous generations of a particular culture.
Okay, what at individual level? If I say Ashok is culturally intelligent, what it could be?
Means I'm more more aware of my cultural upbringings, and I can able to use my cultural practices to the best of my abilities to solve the problems.
Okay. Let's say, as you are growing, you must have come across certain stereotypes.
Yes, sir.
You also would have harbored certain stereotypes. Can you recollect any such stereotypes which you have developed and which you have come out in the recent times?
Sir, growing up, like most kids, I also thought that the people with beard are generally bad men, and we have to avoid them because they will kidnap and do the bad stuff.
Okay.
But as I grown up, I seen that is not the case, and we should not generalize a particular person based on his appearance. So that is one stereotype that I could recall, sir.
Anything else? More serious?
Sir, I was also a victim of halo effect, sir. For example, a person who is good in one aspect, I generally tend to assume that he will be good in other aspects also. But it took some time to realize that maybe it's not always true. That one person may be good in one aspect, that doesn't guarantee that he will be good in other aspects. For example, as it wrongly portrayed in movies, a beautiful heroine will have a beautiful soul. But that may not be the case in the real world.
Okay, interesting. Ashok, if I ask you, what actually a psychologist does, can you explain in layman's terms?
So psychology's main job is to help the individual to lead a healthy life, sir. It could be if the person is if the person is suffering from mental disorders or the mental ailments, it could be to help provide a relief to them.
What is psychiatrist's job?
Yes, sir. Psychiatry is a part of psychology who is focused on treating mental disorders, and psychologists go beyond, sir. Not only treating the mental disorders, but also improve the way of quality of life, sir. By bringing in the awareness to the other things that the individual might have forgot or lost thought of. For example, while we are working, we are always connected with the material world, but we sometimes we lose contact with our spiritual self and our true mental self. A psychologist's job is to keep himself connected with his inner self, like what truly he wants.
What is that inner self?
So every person has a one inner self or conscience which wants something that he may not portray outside. For example, a person who may be achieving material goals, but he himself in the inside he wants some tranquil environment. He wants some peace with him.
But how to identify that my inner self? Is there any way that I can have access to my inner self?
Sir, in psychology we have a term called dream analysis or free recall. In the free recall method, a psychologist will ask you a series of questions, and as you respond to it, he will come at a point what exactly your conflict point is and what exactly you truly wants from the inner that you are not expressing
Ashok, I
outside.
think you are getting too technical. Why don't you explain it in much more understandable way to me?
Sure, sir. For example, if a person comes to me and says that he's feeling discomfort, but as such is not having any discomfort in his life, but he is having hard time living his life. So as a psychologist, I would ask him to tell him what discomforts is the most. First he will start with the upper level things that he thinks they are discomfort. Then by a chain of logical questioning, Socratic method, we go into the deep sense and ask him to speak more. So generally when we do this method, people lose control and they start speaking about themselves. And unknowingly they will give cues to their unconscious, inner unconscious, that we can relate and say that, see, this may be the surface problem, but the driven problem is this. So you need to address this. And your unconscious wants this. Your inner self wants this.
I got you.
Yes, difference between neurosis and psychosis.
Neurosis is a term that is related to the neural disorders or the neural disorders. For example, anxiety disorders is one of the major class of the major class of
Anxiety disorder is a neural disorder.
neurosis, sir. It comes under the family of
Is there a
neurosis.
difference between neurosis and neural disorder?
Yes, sir. So, sir, neurosis is a big term, is a umbrella term for the psychological disorders that that arise from the neurotic anxiety or the neural like neural abnormalities.
No, one minute. Neurotic disorder and neural abnormality, are they same or different?
So, neural abnormalities is a subpart of this bigger terms.
Oh no. So, suppose I have ulnar nerve dystrophy. It is a neural abnormality. Suppose there is a dissection of a nerve in the hand. It is a neural abnormality. Is it a type of neurosis?
No, no, sir. It is
you
not.
just said that they are
Sir,
linked.
exact, sir. Some part, some term, some types of neural abnormality contributes to the neurosis, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir. I'm sure, sir.
If there is no neural abnormality, there will be no neurosis.
No, again, sir. This is a contributing term, sir. But this is not the only term that will contribute, sir. So there can be hormones, there can be internal homeostasis can be disturbed, which all can contribute to the neurotic anxiety or the neurosis in general, sir.
My original question was, what was the difference between neurosis and psychosis? Can you come back to the original question and give me an
Yes.
answer?
Neurosis refers to the broad umbrella term for the psychological disorders that arise from the neurotic anxiety broadly, whereas psychosis refers to the psychological disorders that arise from the dysfunctional brain functioning.
You are resorting to usage of jargons because you don't know the basic difference. So I will tell you the basic difference. The first thing I learned in psychiatry, that patient of neurosis knows that he or she is ill. A patient of psychosis thinks he or she is perfectly fine. That is the basic difference.
Ashok, how do you interpret this interface between psychology and modern technology? Psychology as a discipline, is it averse to modern technology, or it has that, it is reconciled well with technology?
So, psychology is a science that is used to control, that is used to study human behavior, sir. So, technology aids in study of human behavior, sir. So, psychology and technology can go very well with each other to achieve our aim, sir. For example, polyesthmograph can be used to identify the tension or these tension levels or the anxiety levels by measuring the blood levels, sir. As well as MRI scan can be used to identify what are the brain abnormalities that can be contribute to the psychological disorders, sir.
So technology and psychology can go together.
Yes, sir.
So there is no fundamental contradiction between technology and psychology.
No, sir.
Interesting. Then what is adversity intelligence?
No, sir, I am not exactly
You
aware.
you want to take a guess by literally interpreting the term? Adversity coefficient, adversity intelligence.
No, sir, I
No,
don't want to
no.
divert from the
What
question.
is fast chess? How is it different from regular chess?
Sir, are you referring to the faster controls of chess or?
Fast chess. I'm using the right term.
No, sir, I am not exactly aware of that.
No problem. So, what type of a game is chess according to you? What type of a game it is?
So chess is a strategical game where you have to play for the long term wins.
You have to
Play for the long term win, sir. You have to plan according to and always play for the long term win instead of the short term win, sir. Because chess, one of the lessons that chess thoughts is teaches us is whoever chases for the shorter goal will always fail in achieving their goals, sir.
So chess has life lessons according to you.
Yes, sir.
What life lessons did you happen to learn from chess, if there are anything as such?
So number one is always plan your approach before dealing with the problem. Number two is always have a long term vision what you want to do. Number three is focus on what exactly you want. Like in the game of chess, the aim is to checkmate the king, not to capture the material. So so in life also focus on exactly what you want and direct your energies towards it.
Okay, good. I understood. And how is badminton different from? See, there are many racket sports, right? How is badminton different from those other racket sports?
Sir, I don't particularly see any difference.
Tennis is an example of a racket.
Yes,
sport,
sir.
isn't it? And also you have ball badminton. So, are they same or is there any basic difference?
Sir, badminton is played with a shuttle, whereas ball badminton is played with a. Other than the trivial difference, I don't find any difference between these places.
Okay, no problem. Right. So, why best chessmen are always men? Is there anything to do with gender and this sport called as chess?
Sir, it has nothing. It has very less to do with the gender, but more have to deal with the introduction of chess. In general, boys are introduced to chess at a very early time, which is also coincidentally the time of mental development. Number two, boys are encouraged to pursue a career in chess, whereas girls in most of the countries are they are married off early, and so they have to secure their future. Number three is girls are not encouraged to develop in chess in general compared to boys. So
to you, the reasons are largely social, nothing to do with intellect or nothing as such.
no, sir.
Okay, good. Do you think you are stressed now?
Yes, I'm a bit stressed
How do you know you are stressed? You
because
don't have any sophisticated tests to perform, like you have just mentioned. It's how are you telling that you are stressed now?
I can gauge my internal state. As a student of psychology, it's one of the things I know how to gauge my internal state.
How do you get?
Sir, outward facial expressions and micro expression that can be gauged by outside person, but internal heartbeat and sweat, those kind of things can be managed by the person.
So, on a scale of 10, how stressed you are now?
5.
You are stressed to 5. Okay. Why will it not make you comfortable?
Not like that, sir. Since the occasion is such that it generates an amount of stress.
Okay. So, if you are a president of Ukraine now, so what will you do?
Sir, as a president of Ukraine, I have to deal with the two things, sir. One is a short term and the long term problem, sir. Short term problem is first stop the war at any cost, because the civilians are dying at an alarming rate. Number two is revive the economy that is badly hit. Especially the ports, Mariupol and other strategic ports are destroyed. So first to
I'll just interrupt you here, Ashok.
Yes, sir.
Don't mind. Stop the war at any cost. What do you mean by that?
Sir, as we are speaking, there are already some more than 10 rounds of talks happened between Russia and Ukraine delegates without reaching any conclusion, sir. So as a president of Ukraine, my priority would be to get a deal from the table by offering some.
What deal do you think will convince Russia, because you are Ukrainian president now?
Yes, sir. So one of the things to convince the Russia is to first assess what exactly Russia's interests. So Russia's interest is stop the eastward expansion of NATO. Number 3 is the territorial integrity of the southward regions surrounding the Ukraine and the eastward Europe. So as a president, my my way forward would be to guarantee these securities so that the war is at least stalled for now and we can move back to the pre-war era.
Okay, fine. One last question from my side. So, how do you assess your performance now? Till now.
I think I did good.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Hi, Mr. Ashok.
Hi,
How
sir.
are you? You're very serious.
Not like that.
You look serious actually. You're not smiling,
Okay.
right? Be comfortable. You need some water?
No sir, I'm
Sure?
sure sir. Yes sir.
Okay. So you play chess.
Yes sir.
Have you heard of grandmasters?
Yes sir.
Name some Indian grandmasters, you know.
Vishwanathan Anand, Vidit Gujarati.
How many you have Indian grandmasters?
So there are total 73 sir.
Okay. Okay. Name.
Vishwanathan Anand, Vidit Gujarati, Pentala Harikrishna, Adiban Bhaskaran. These are the top 4 in senior circuit. In the juniors we have number 1 is Arjun Erigesi from Telangana. After that we have Pragnananda and Nihal Sarin.
Why he was in news recently?
Sir, he was in news because he defeated Magnus Carlsen in an online event organized by Magnus.
So you are a professional player?
Sir, I play in online platforms.
Okay.
I am not yet registered in any registered clubs. Sir.
So what is rating in the chess, and also what are different moves we have in the chess?
Sir, rating in chess is called ELO rating. It is given by FIDE.
Very good.
And moves of the chess is the first move is moves of the sorry sir, I couldn't get
So
the.
there are different types of moves we have,
Exactly sir.
right? Where these are called openings.
Yes sir.
So do you have any idea about these openings?
Yes sir. Sir, as a chess player myself, I play with white. I play Royal Opus or Queen's Gambit.
Openings is always with white, right? Yeah. Please go
Royal
on.
Opus or Queen's Gambit.
Okay.
With black, I always go for a King's Indian Defense.
Okay, very good. I mean, but Indians, most of them play with 4 knight or 2 knight.
Sir, till last recent past, they used to play Indian openings,
Okay.
which is 1d4, 1e4. But slowly we are evolving towards complex openings.
Okay. Okay. Who is the founder of chess?
I'm not exactly aware of that.
She or he? Any idea about that?
No, sir.
Okay. From India or some rest of the world?
Sir, chess
Any
as
wild
a
guess?
game is evolved from the Gupta times.
Okay.
But I exactly don't know about the founder of the chess.
Okay. Okay. So you are into fisheries, huh? Fishing.
Yes, sir.
So is there any difference between fisheries and aquaculture, or aquaculture is part of fishery?
Sir, aquaculture is a part of fishery. Fishery refers to two.
So fishing, aquaculture is part of fishing.
Yes, sir. Fishing is two types, sir.
Are you sure?
Marine fishing, freshwater fishing. So in freshwater fishing, aquaculture is cultured. When we culture the fish in a freshwater, it is called aquaculture. But when we do it in a marine fishing, is something completely different. What we pursue the fishing.
Now, do we have minister for this industry?
Sir, a recent ministry has been created for fisheries and animal husbandry.
It is called fisheries and aquaculture.
Okay.
Correct?
Okay, sir.
Are you aware of it?
No, sir. I'm not exactly aware.
Okay, fine, no problem. So, what do you know about this IPL which is happening, which is going on now?
IPL is a domestic cricket league that is organized by the BCCI, in which 10 teams participate to get the title.
So, see, there was a recent report released by 22nd Law Commission, which actually suggested to make betting legal in the country. So, what are your views on making betting legal in the country in view of these sports events like we have IPL and Pro Kabaddi or something else?
Sir, my view is we have to further dissect what exactly we are addressing here. Like betting can be if there are apps in which we can form a team and then we can bet on the team that the team will win.
You are talking about fantasy cricket.
Yes, yes.
I'm talking about the traditional betting.
So traditional betting as such, I think it should not be legalized because
Should not. Okay, why?
Because it first place it creates a first of all it deviates the mind. It is it is unproductive activity. Number two is betting as such is not played on merit. It's played on a fortune. or the chance based outcomes, which are always addictive and negative in a long term to a society, sir. And number 3 is most of the times betting as such is practiced by the people of lower strata to get immediate gains or the sudden gains, and these people further decline or further endanger their livelihood in hopes of getting extraordinary rewards. So these are the main problems of betting if betting is legalized.
Suppose, imagine you are a district collector.
Yes, sir.
What are the short-term steps you take to remove betting in your district, and what are the long view plan you have to remove this betting?
Sir, as a district collector, first the short-term plan would be to identify the hotspots where the betting is being conducted. And number 2 would be increase the police presence in those areas so that the betting activities are not encouraged. Number 3 would be to implement the law in strictly so that it is discouraged and not practiced. And my long-term measures would be to...
I'm sorry to interrupt, but in meanwhile you got some political pressure.
Sir, even if I am under the political pressure, but this is the part of the job that I have to do.
How you tackle that?
Sir, I have to explain to my political leader that this is the problem that needs to be tackled, and if this is not done, it will be detrimental to the society as a whole. So I would explain him this is the way forward. These are the ill effects of the betting, and this is why we have to take a strict steps on betting.
These are the short term. What are the long term?
Long term would be to first raise the awareness.
Short term is just identifying, ensuring the police presence is more, and make sure the law is strictly followed. That's it.
These are the short term measures.
Okay.
Long term measures would be to first raise the awareness why betting is bad and how betting is ruining their lives. Number 2 would be to promote alternatives to betting, sir, like fantasy sports or some kinds of other betting where they can derive the similar happiness or the thrill that they are getting from betting.
Good. So you are a psychology student, right?
Yes, sir.
So you know something about time travel
Yes, sir. I have heard
as a
about
concept.
it. Yes, sir. I have heard about it.
Please elaborate on time travel. What are the terminologies used in that? Do you think it's really possible?
Sir, time travel is a scientific concept in which a person from one age travels back, forth or forward to another age to observe the, so that and become the person of that society.
Is it age or time?
Time.
So you travel a time.
To travel a certain amount of time in the past or to the future.
How?
Sir,
So what are the different terms? Whenever we discuss about this concept of time travel, we get different terms to be used. You know? They use this gravity, they use the time, they use velocity.
Sir, there is one concept of theory of relativity we can use by which we can achieve time travel, but I am not exactly sure how feasible it is.
You are district collector of a district
Yes, sir.
where SGD wise your district performance is very poor. What are you going to do? What is SGD?
Yes, G.
GD. SGD. 2015 there was a summit.
Yes, sir.
2030 is the deadline given for achievement of SDG. What are they?
Sustainable development goals are
Yes. Now tell me how you will tackle this problem. When you assume charge, you find that your district ranking is very poor. What are your plans? Can you tell me a few SGDs? And then you will, once you know, but the mind doesn't know, the eyes don't see. So first tell me what are SGDs and then how you are going to tackle this problem.
Sir, SDG stands for Sustainable Development Goals.
Few of those goals.
For you of those, SDG 1 stands for the poverty, to end the poverty by 2030. SDG 2 stands for
Eliminating hunger
eliminate hunger. SDG 3 stands for health.
and well-being. Good
Health
health
and
and
well-being.
well-being.
SDG 4 stands for education. SDG 5 stands for gender equality and so
4
on.
stands for gender equality. Okay. 5 stands for. Okay, that's all right.
The question
Now-
is not.
yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Please,
Now
Sir,
you
as a
tackle
correct-
the problem.
Yes, sir. As a collector, first I would see in which areas exactly my district is lacking.
Okay.
In the 17 proposed goals, what are the areas my district is actually lacking compared to the other districts? Number 2, what are the priorities that I have to address in my districts? There
You
can
will
be
not find out why you are lagging in those goals.
yes, sir.
First, you identify where you are lagging.
Yes, sir.
Next step won't be to identify why, where you are lagging. After that, why you are lagging in those goals. Shouldn't that be your number 2 step?
So that can be that can be number 2.
Can be or has to be?
Sir, my
Okay, what will be
yes,
in
sir.
your opinion? What should be number 2?
Sir, I would shortlist what are the priorities that I have to carry out in my district, because a coastal district might have a different set of needs from an interior district.
Okay.
So, seeing from this perspective,
What will be different as far as SDGs are concerned between coastal and an interior district? Can you
sir,
elaborate?
an internal district may or may
Internal kaam,
interior district may or may not have a water problem, but a coastal district most of the time will have a drinking water problem because of its saline water and saline water. There will be water problem of the in the coastal district, sir. So
Are you sure? For example, Krishna district is a coastal district. Coastal district is defined as a district with a coastline.
Yes, sir.
It may be a long coastline, it may be a short coastline. Do all coastal districts in India have problems in drinking water because of the salinity issue?
not all, sir,
Then-
but some.
Which district, coastal district, is having drinking water problem because of the salinity issue? Any particular district you know of?
Sir, along the districts of Gujarat and
Which district in Gujarat is having this problem of drinking water because of salinity issues? Which are the coastal districts in Gujarat?
I'm not exactly recalling the name, sir, but
Any
these are
district in Gujarat that is coastal? Can you tell me about a particular district in Gujarat that is coastal?
I'm not exactly recalling the name, sir.
Okay, I'll come back to the answer. Okay, tell me. So you will find out what are the priorities. Okay,
Yes,
after that,
What are the priorities, and based on that, why till now what is the action plan, and why are we lagging? Till now what has been the action plan? Why are we lagging?
okay,
And based on that, I will prepare the action plan for the future. Like for example, if you are lacking in the health sector,
Okay.
what has been the action plan? Why are we lagging? These are the outcomes. So because of this action plan, we achieved here. We came here. So to better that, what are the things that we have to improve? That I will work upon according to the goals.
now suppose good health and well-being is a goal under SDG.
Yes, sir.
You find that your district is lagging in this particular goal.
Yes, sir.
You will find out the action plan that has been in place in your district till now,
Yes, sir.
and then based on that you will devise a new action plan. That's what you are telling?
Devise a new action plan or tweak the existing action plan so that these SDG goals can be achieved meaningfully.
See, there is a term called armchair politician. So similarly, there is a term called armchair bureaucrat, who only sits like this in the armchair and devises plans. Won't you find out from the field level why the action plan has failed? Unless you go or you send people from the field, from the grassroots, cutting edge level, why the action plan has failed? How can you find out why it has failed? Once we don't know why it has failed, how can you devise or tweak the action plan to make it more suitable, result oriented? Don't you think so?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Surely, sir. After knowing about the action plan, the next step would be to find out why it has failed. What has been done means why it has failed is the next step for after knowing the action plan that has been in place, sir.
You just mentioned a term, age, going from one age to another while talking about time travel. What are the different ages in human history? Can you focus some light? History of human civilization.
Yes. Sir, broad ages in human civilization can be Paleolithic age, Mesolithic age, and it's followed by the Neolithic age. It's followed by the Chalcolithic age. After that, the modern civilization of the day, sir.
And age is divided into?
Age is divided into, sir, our technical term. Are we referring to the technical term?
Tell me the technical term. Age will be divided. Age is a very big time
Yes, sir.
period. It will be divided into what?
No, sir, I am not exactly aware of the term, sir.
Have you heard of the term eon? E-O-N.
Yes, sir.
You have heard the term?
Yes, sir. It is also one of the component of the geological classification.
Geological classification?
What
is geology?
No, sir. Sorry, sir.
No, I am asking you a
Yes,
question. You cannot tell that you are sorry. What is geology?
I am not exactly aware with the geological.
What sir is asking? What exactly is geology? Simple. Don't go into it.
I am asking from a term you have mentioned. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So,
No, sir. I am. Sir, sorry, sir. I mispronounced.
Leave it. Sir is asking what is geology.
No, sir. I am not aware of the geology.
Yes. Finally, I'll conclude with few questions. You are from Kakinada district or East Godavari?
Yes, sir.
So recently the division of districts has happened.
Yes, sir.
Like on the basis of?
On the basis of parliamentary constituencies, sir.
So do you think is it the right way of division of districts? How
Sir,
did parliamentary constituencies play a role in dividing a district?
First of all, there used to be multiple constituencies in one district. So when the district planning was happening, there used to be conflicting demands from the MPs of the same district. So the priorities may not get executed in the district properly. But right now, the district planning committee will have only one MP. So he can focus all his energies, and since MP is a representative of a state in parliament, so he can be a voice of the district in the parliament, and can channel necessary funds to develop his districts. So it can actually lead to development and be closer to the people.
So the jurisdiction of the parliamentary district or whatever you have mentioned will not change in the future. It will be the same.
I am not exactly
84th Constitution Amendment Act. What is that?
So after every census.
I am not asking about articles.
Yes, sir.
So there was some delimitation.
Okay. Yes, sir. Delimitation committee, after every census, it has to.
Correct.
Yes, sir. It has to delimit the constituencies.
Now the Lok Sabha seats and also the Assembly seats are freezed
Yes, sir.
till
2025.
26. Okay, 26. So yeah. So this idea of what districts as per parliamentary constituencies work till 2025, 26. 26 is what I know. So then afterwards, after that, the parliamentary seats will increase.
Yes, sir.
Then
So the rationale being this, but there are other points also for dividing the districts into smaller districts, sir. So if it doesn't if the parliamentary constituency is also not worked out, the other points can also be stressed now the district administration is more close to the people because there are lesser number of people to focus.
those are the benefits what you are saying. Sir is asking what is the premise, on what basis the division was done.
So this is the only premise I learned from the I learned so.
Will it socially, economically, or politically benefit someone?
Yes, sir. For the people in the constituency, if the programs are implemented, it will benefit, sir.
So please.
So I found you to be quite nervous in your attitude. Your hands are always, fingers are constantly moving, and you are blurting out words,
Very easy.
and you are having to eat your own words.
Exactly.
So we have to see this board has been very hostile towards you. Assume there will be hostile boards, there will be friendly boards. But the point is, you should never lose your cool, calm and composure. A very tough question has been asked. If the question is yes, no type, either you know or you don't know. But many questions will be opinion based. What is your opinion? What is your take on this? So just think for a minute or half a minute, compose your thought, and then every word that you utter should be after applying your mind, after giving it a thought. So you are trapping yourself. The words you are using, you are getting trapped. Then psychology is your subject. So basic things like difference between neurosis and psychosis. You are talking about neural disorders and all, and you are venturing into such areas where you will be definitely caught. Here there are 2 doctors in the board, so you will be caught. So you never know in the board who are there. You don't know about the board knows your background. You don't know the background of the board. So you should always assume that whatever subject I am talking about, there is an expert on that board, in that board. So you should be very careful with our words, very careful with the statements, and there is no harm. If you don't know something, you can always tell, sir, I don't know.
Even when you are saying, like, even if you don't know anything, what we have observed is like you are taking it very easy, and like you are saying is, I don't know, sir, I just don't know, sir. You have to give an explanation, and maybe you should say, I'm not aware of this concept, I'm not aware of this. And opinions, when board has asked opinions, you cannot say, I don't know. You should actually come up with some points. As sir mentioned, you have to think and come up with points. You are very serious, but your answers are very light.
Okay.
Is what I felt. And you are deviating from your own answer. You are very much deviation. And terminologies used are also, you have to focus on what terms not to be used. Sir, please.
When is your actual date of the interview?
May 10th.
May 10th. You have good time. Is this your first interview?
No, sir. It is my third.
Interview.
Oh, sorry. UPSC interview it is my first.
It's your first interview.
Yes, sir.
But it's your third attempt, right? You should practice enough to present yourself more rather than on subject. మీరు ఎంత సబ్జెక్ట్ మీద అయితే కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ చేశారో ఒక 10% మీరు ప్రజెంటేషన్ మీద కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ చేయాలి. సో మీ స్ట్రెస్ లెవెల్స్ కావచ్చు, హౌ టు మేనేజ్ ఆల్ దిస్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ విల్ నాట్ బీ ఇన్ అవర్ హ్యాండ్స్ వెన్ యూ ఎంటర్ ది రూమ్. సో గివింగ్ మోర్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ మార్క్స్ విల్ నాట్ సర్వ్ ద పర్పస్. Practicing more will serve the purpose. So maximum a amount ఏం చేయాలి ఏంటి మీ ప్రెజెంటేషన్ లైక్ you are from Telugu medium background.
English
medium. So you should practice more rather than your answers are very light, not to the point, with not proper terminology. So you should practice well enough based on
Yeah, sure. Sure.
అనవసరంగా అంటే కొన్ని క్వశ్చన్స్లోని సైకాలజీ రిలేటెడ్ క్వశ్చన్స్లో కొన్ని అనవసరంగా బ్లడ్ అవుట్ చేశాను అనిపించింది.
చాలా లూజ్ థ్రెడ్స్ ఐ కాంటాక్ట్ మెయింటైన్ చేయట్లేదు. సో టోటల్ ప్రొహిబిషన్ అనే టాపిక్ మీద ఆల్మోస్ట్ 3.5 minutes డిస్కషన్ నడిచింది. ఒక టాపిక్ మీద అంతసేపు ఉన్నావు అంటే లైక్ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్. అక్కడ కొంచెం ఇమోషనల్ ఇంటెలిజెంట్ ఉన్నారు అంటే we got to know that you are not sure, so sir is constantly asking questions. See, when you are not confident about something, say honestly and move out of that. And akkade you are committing mistakes, sir is trying to correct, still you do not see. Sir said detoxification is not an appropriate term. Even then you prefer to use the same term again. Detoxification is not in every other case, right? De-addiction is the appropriate term. Sir tried to correct you, and again you chose to use the same term. Are you getting my point? That may show that you are not receptive to new thoughts and new ideas like that. And one more thing, and you are constantly using too many technical jargon while talking to me, instead of me insisting that explain it in layman's term, Socratic method. You can't assume that I would be aware of Socratic method, right? Like it happened at 3-4 times. Without your knowledge, too many technical terms are coming out of your mouth. Be a little more conscious, be a little more present is what I felt. Especially when you are talking about this, neurosis concept. Sir literally played with you. And you are not sure about most of the things. At a point of time, I felt you are in a confrontational mode also. It appeared, though you are not. But I felt it like that. You are counting the fingers and your hand movements, like you have even... they are out of your control, all those things happen. You can take the video and see it. Be more conscious, be more present, keep monitoring yourself, fidgeting a lot again. And sir has rightly pointed out, your pronunciation could be much more clear. Words are rolling, going a little faster. Try to place it better so that it's clear and loud and better heard. So that's what I felt. And legalizing betting question also, you are dodging the question, I felt. You are not coming to the point. For you to come to the demand of the question, it took you at least 50 seconds to 1 minute. Only after 1 minute you came to the point. No, it's not appropriate. Question first try to hit the demand of the question. You are talking about everything else other than the demand of the question. In this process, you are leaving loose threads. That is giving ammunition for panel to further pull you down. Don't give that opportunity, and that's what, taking time to arrive and see. And also choice of words, Ashok. Time travel. You started by saying it's a scientific concept. Are you sure it's a scientific concept? Is it an established scientific concept? It's still a debate, right?
Yes, sir.
Then why should you straight away start by telling it is a scientific concept?
Even time travel means going forward or backward in time. Why did you use the term age? Immediately it gives a scope to ask you.
Okay, you are committing mistake and you are not willing to correct them. See, why would any coastal district have water problem?
Salination.
Maybe in your limited experience, you would have seen couple of mandals in your district having salinity, and it's a common sense that coastal districts will not have water problem. Ideally, it is the interior district that should have the water problem. Sir is trying to correct you. You are not willing to listen. You are going on and on and on.
Went to Gujarat and akkada dorikipoyaru.
Gujarat districts.
Because coastal district, I know you will not be able to tell. Many of the people also will not be able to tell.
Exactly. Same thing happened with district division. Are you sure that it is divided by parliamentary constituencies?
Parliamentary constituencies.
Population is the criteria. Population is the criteria they have kept.
Okay.
They tried their best to overlap with the parliamentary constituency. Otherwise, they have never specifically mentioned that we try to overlap it, because there are 18.19 examples wherein there is no overlap with the parliamentary constituencies. Even they said we want to divide it as per they use an intelligent term, as per the aspirations of the people and based on the population.
Okay, sir.
They never openly said parliamentary. There, you got so much disconnected. By the end of the interview, you look bored and disinterested. You are saying, you are instead of the term district, you are using constituency. Did you observe that? So maintain that enthusiasm throughout the interview. So it might, just like for you, it was a marathon interview. There also, it might take 40 minutes. You might have given your best 30 minutes. If last 10 minutes was stressful and you have not done it well, then that can pull you back. Same level of enthusiasm, excitement, whatever you have to maintain throughout the interview.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe Eagle Media Works.